What's up guys, this is Jragon14. Despite my skin and username, it's still me. I'm still trying to sort that out, but I can't build, which is why you're going to help me learn how. We are going to learn together how to build. So I've just picked a plains world type, it's just infinite plains, and we're going to build a little village here. So, most of you are probably command blockers, and I'm guessing that a lot of you can't build, just like me. So we're going to learn together. So I have actually watched a few building tutorials, but I have shown absolutely no improvement. I'm terrible at building. It's just not in me to build, and so I just want to grow in the field of building, and also command blocks. I've been doing a lot of them. They're getting a little bit stale, but I don't want them to go stale. So that's why we're going to be doing some building instead. So I often find that when I'm watching tutorials, a lot of people say keep it simple, stupid, which makes sense because you don't want to over detailize. All right, well that's a new word, but when people build, sometimes they add a little too much detail. But then you get other builders who like have an allergy to flat walls. Like they are actually allergic to flat walls. They cannot use full blocks. Everything is a slab, everything is a stair, everything is a ladder, and it's I find with those builders, some of them are really talented, but sometimes it can be, well, in my opinion, awful. But the thing is with building is that it's subjective. If you don't know what that means, it just means there's no definitive like proof. There's no real way of saying, oh, this is bad because, right? Well, there is, but it's a little bit more intuitive. You kind of get what I'm saying. So at the moment, one of the tutorials said one of the most important things is that you don't make it up as you go along. You just, you have a plan. So what I'm actually doing is creating a path. I'm going to create a very, very small village to start off with. And as I said before, I'm going to start off with the simple method because if I over detailize, that new word, then this is bound to fail, especially since I'm not very good at building. Now you'll notice that I am working with odd numbers. Now the reason for that is if I had a pathway that was going like this, then it's very, very difficult to create a center block without doing something like that, and sometimes it can be a bit too big to manage. But working with odd numbers, it is a lot easier to have a defined center. Like you can see there, I didn't need 2 blocks to center it perfectly. Now, for those of you who are wondering, I am not going to follow any particular style. I am going to follow the style that's in my head, so that's kind of hard to explain. But the color palette that I've chosen, because it's good to have a color palette so you don't have an overwhelming amount of colors, I've chosen these blocks because, let's face it, they're very, very difficult to go wrong with. Grey and brown, they go well nice together, and blue and green also go together quite well. So that I didn't choose any bright colors like gold because I think it's a little bit of an obnoxious color and it's difficult to get right. So that's why I've chosen those blocks. Alright, this is my plan so far. So I'm thinking I want to have I want it to all be kind of interconnected. Still don't want to get too complicated, but having I better draw it up. Okay, so imagine I had a house here and a house here. That's pretty boring, but if you interconnect it somehow, I know this isn't very good, but it really just improves the design of your particular village and it makes it feel like they belong together. Alright, just for reference, this is 15 blocks, this is 5 blocks, this is 15 blocks, and this is 21 blocks. Why did I choose those? Because of the golden ratio. Now, I'm not going to explain that this episode, but you just gotta trust me, those lengths just apparently look nice together. I could be wrong. Remember, building is subjective, so you guys gotta tell me what you think, how I can improve. Okay, so here's what I have so far. I have like a kind of wall, which is pretty simple, but also not entirely flat, so keeping a balance of detail. And I've got these stairs that go up incrementally, and I'm not happy with it, because I feel like the colors blend together a little too well. Like this hurts my eyes trying to see what's going on here. So I decided to, well, I'm deciding at the moment whether or not I should add this to the pathway, just to break up the textures, as they say. Well, that's what the experts, I'm going to call them, on the YouTube call them. See, that Okay, they were right. That looks a little bit better. Still not perfect. I also don't like how these shapes work together, so I'm just going to place... So now that cobblestone looks a little bit... Yeah, I'm not really happy with that, how that looks. But if I do the stairs like this, then the fence doesn't look very well connected. Okay, so the struggle I'm having with at the moment is it's hard to connect the spruce logs to this part here. This also looks a little bit strange. I might take this out, see how that looks. So now that turn looks a bit too abrupt. What if I added a cobblestone column here? Actually, okay, so that looks a little better. It's hard to tell actually. So this is why I'm making this series, is because we're growing together. Yay! I feel like this is quite an improvement. Everything looks a little bit nicer. I think I've overused the cobblestone a little bit, so let's just fix that up. And yeah, I feel like it's a little bit inconsistent at the moment because it's stone brick. Now it's cobblestone. Now it's kind of stone brick again. I need to work on that. But other than that, I changed the wall a bit so it makes a little bit more sense structurally, and I'm a lot happier with it. It doesn't look too flat, it doesn't look overly detailed. I'm still going to tidy up this wall that I put in place here. It doesn't look very appealing from the front at this stage, but I'm just going to work on this. But I feel like I'm getting a little bit ahead of myself in the building. But basically, as you might be able to see, I want to be able to go up here and then move across. But if you haven't guessed already, this area right here, I'm trying to make a bit of a village house, if that makes sense. It's kind of hard to explain with building. I mean, command blocks is easy. It's like, oh, this does this. The fill command makes it fill, but with building, it's very, very hard to explain what exactly I'm going at. You know what? The cobblestone texture is quite rough, so I'm just going to change this whole wall into stone brick and see what results that gives. Alright, so I'm just doing a fill command, there we go. And I just removed these little tiles that I added. So, I'm just going to sink in the walls just so it lines up with these poles here. And also, I had an idea about what I should do with these parts. I think I might extend the cobblestone up a little bit. Not really sure how I feel about that, but I think kind of splits up the fences a little bit more. I might put torches there later. I'm still only working with like grey colours. I need to employ some of the other colours just so it looks a little bit nicer sometime. Now that looks ugly to me. I'm not really sure why. I think it's because the colours are too dramatically different. It just feels quite out of place to me. So we'll work on the details later. But for now, I think I'm pretty happy with how this is coming along. Still a bit annoyed about how the symmetry is working and why some things aren't looking the way I want it. It's definitely this. I'm going to change that. See, now I have a little bit more inconsistency there, so let's fix that up. But now suddenly it's not symmetrical, and it's annoying to fix. Don't know about you guys, but this kind of hurts my eyes to look at. This looks pretty bad actually. We need to find a way to fix this. Nope. Better, but far from perfect. So I broke up the wall in the back and it looks okay. It kind of breaks up the textures, as the experts say. I think this is a little too much stone, so I need to change that to another colour, but I can't think of what colours yet. And these walls back here, they look pretty flat. The whole wall system here looks a bit flat, but that's just a temporary thing because it does improve the look of the build so far. So we're only going to be focusing on this side of the palette, by the way, if you haven't guessed already. We might have like an entrance inside, maybe. This seems like a cool little spot to put an entrance. So let's put that in next time. But for now, I think we'll call it an episode. I want to hear your feedback before I continue. That actually looks pretty cool. I'm looking forward to doing that next episode. But for now, thank you all everyone for watching. I hope you enjoyed this new style of episode. But for now, I'll see you in the next one. Take care.